My name is Simona, and me and the rest of the team had the project of housing in Marsaxlokk. And what we wanted to do with housing, the first thing that comes to mind is large apartment blocks, which is quite sad because this wasn't how it was before. So what we did was we located a villa, Villa Sansucci, which most of you probably know as the haunted house of Marsaxlokk, which is quite sad since it's an 18th century villa built by a professor in Marsaxlokk. And it's gotten this very bad fame nowadays. So what we wanted to do is restore it, bring it back to its former glory while giving it a modern twist. What we did was we placed 6 apartments inside the restored villa so that instead of having to build these large concrete towers, these large concrete blocks, we're going to have an apartment sort of complex inside this villa, along with a coffee shop. And since we're taking away this villa from the public in a way, what we're going to do is have a private and a public garden so that people can, even though the apartments are going to be private, people can still enjoy this beautiful villa and area. Kristina can tell you more about the inspiration behind this project.
So for our inspiration, we wanted to create a sense of community and coming together. Because when you think of an apartment, you think everyone is sectioned off to themselves, and this place is mine, this place is yours, and you can't really communicate. So we wanted to create this sense of coming together and community. So we looked at some French paintings. We considered coming together, they're having a picnic, and we wanted to recreate that idea but on a larger scale. As you can also see, this, as you know, it's a renovation project, and we wanted to keep some of the history because the villa itself has a lot of history, so we didn't want to completely demolish it. That's why even the front facade, it's mainly the same, but we're putting a modern twist on it.
We found this quote, which we think really applies, and the photo next to the quote is actually the villa in the 1800s. We managed to find an old photo of it before it became haunted. As you can see, it's quite beautiful. Haunted in inverted commas. So, as I said, the thought process was first locating the villa, and then we wanted, as we said, since the villa is going to become now private property because of the apartments, we wanted to still keep something of it public, and that's why we decided on making the gardens half private, half public. This project, obviously, is for people who would like to live in such a beautiful villa, and those who will enjoy, obviously, the gardens. So mainly the community in Marsaxlokk, and even those who come there, for example, for Sunday or to enjoy the squares. How will the building attract buyers? So obviously, as we said, the buyers are going to be those who will want to live in this villa. What problem will it fix? It will help to show what we can do in terms of buildings. So instead of building new buildings, we can restore these which have been abandoned. So it's something that can even give a frame of mind to new architects and give a new idea. And obviously, the rural lands which are behind the villa won't be built and will be left as gardens.
As said in the start of the presentation, the villa is in Marsaxlokk, in the more northern region, and it resides in this flat plot of land. This is the renovated, post-renovation model of the villa after the renovations have been complete in the place of the old one.
Yeah, so this is. Hello. Okay, so this is sort of the general appearance of how it will look like when it's finished, right? So this is taken from a screenshot of Google Earth, and then I traced it out on the screen and drew on it what the final the final thing would look like. So, and I superimposed it from a scan onto the screenshot. So, yes, this is generally a visualization of the project when it's complete.
So these are the floor plans of the villa. The villa will have 3 floors, and each floor will have 2 apartments. So in total, there will be 6. If you look over there, we have the ground floor. The ground floor has the reception, and across the reception, there's also a coffee shop. Next to the coffee shop, we have a lounge area, which will have sofas and seats where you can rest. And across the lounge area, there's also stairs and elevators. So then they go up to the first floor and then to the second floor. The first floor and second floor have the same plan. So then, if you keep on going up, you get to the roof. Half of the roof has the PVC units. There will be around 150 PVC units. Then the rest of the garden will be a rooftop garden. The rest of the roof will be a rooftop garden. So then we have the plan for the actual garden itself. So that's the main house. And the garden will have 2 entrances, the private entrance and the public entrance. The private entrance, I don't know if you saw it, it was in the bottom floor, so it was in the entrance. So as you can see, there's a hallway next to those apartments. If you keep on going, that will be the private entrance to the garden. So the private entrance will lead to the private picnic area. So this area will only be available to the residents, so the people who are staying in the apartments. The rest of the garden is public and can be accessed through the side of the building. So there is the public entrance to the garden. The public garden has a saltwater pool, a fountain, and next to it there is a gazebo. So the gazebo was actually part of the old building. It was in a really bad state though. So we decided, instead of completely demolishing it, to arrange it and improve it so it can be used.
So here's just the basic concept when we started trying to develop this idea, which I illustrated. You can see it splits into 3 sections. One, which is the old sort of design where all the classical windows and everything. In the middle is how it is today, which is completely decrepit and just overall ruined. Whilst in the final, the larger section, you can see our general sort of idea of what we're aiming for when it's fully restored and everything.
And the main, the building, because it's next.
Oh, yeah. So we've also constructed this model of the building.
Yeah. Do you want it?
No.
Okay.
So this is 1/50 scale, which means the average human being sort of is about 3.6 centimeters or 1.5 inch tips in height. And the road would be around this side, whereas most of the public gardens and everything would be surrounded on the other place. So here is our sort of that. Yeah, the model is supposed to be built out of a cardboard and a foam board, which we sort of estimated dimensions from people. Some of it we measured, like more important dimensions, and then measured out at 1/50th scale onto the cardboard, put it out to stuck it together.
And the green patches are actually turf, which we cut out in organic shapes, and the trees are actually made out of branches that we found downstairs, and we stuck small leaves to it to sort of give us scale. This is the 3D model we built.
This is a 1-to-1 rendition of the 3D of the villa I made, which is made in the professional architecture software called SketchUp, with realistic dimensions and measurements. These are some side pictures of the villa, as in only the front part, with details. I tried to replicate them one to one, and they actually look very accurate. And it's very scaled.
I will do them in consultation.
So sustainability is the ability to maintain and support a process continuously throughout a period of time. So sustainability is essential in architecture because it optimizes a building's performance and it minimizes harmful risks to the building occupants as well as the environment surrounding. So here are a few of the things we did to ensure that our project was as sustainable as possible. First of all, we ensured that we would maximize natural lighting and ventilation to various design strategies, like large windows, for example. We also did a green roof and solar panels. We also wanted to do a community compost bin to be used in the garden. We also wanted to do high quality insulation. And we also, in the garden, grew native plants. Native plants are important because when native plants, they're adapted to the specific soil we have in Malta. So they will grow better and will need less water. So we will be wasting less water. We will also be reusing the Globigerina limestone. And we will also be using drip irrigation in the gardens. We're also going to have water reservoirs to help water sustainability.
So this is our financial profile. What we were calculating was the 750 was the price of restoration per square meter. That is the calculation of the house. So it is 440 meters. And then we did it times 3 since we have 3 floors. And that resulted in nearly $1 million. The coffee shop, which we'll sell for 650. Now you might think that that is quite expensive for a coffee shop, but one, it is in a restored villa, and 2, it is going to be next to a public garden and quite close to the main roads. The apartments are going to be 700,000, which is also quite expensive, but once again, it is in a restored villa and there's going to be access privately to the public gardens. And those are going to generate us around 4 million to 100. So for the land, we calculated it in 2 different ways so as to be as accurate as possible. But once again, these are estimations. So we did 1,000 per half of the land, and then we did 100 times half of it. Since 1/2 of it is agricultural land, so that will be measured differently, and the other half is much more than the actual building, but we wanted to be sure that we were as accurate as possible. So, and then we calculated the PV prices. The 100,000 is for 100 PV cells, and the 90,000 is for the solar water boilers. So, and that got us around 190,000. And these are the grants that would make the EU grant for the restoration of the villa, and the regional grant for the public garden, since it's going to be accessible for everyone. And those we calculated to be around 1 million, and we kept it on the lower scale so that we wouldn't depend too much on them. The landscaping for the gardens, we did 100 times 4,000, which is the land minus the area of the house, and that was around 400,000. So adding those and subtracting, we generated that the total profit should be around 1,500,000. Thank you so much.
Thank you.